And there's different kinds of storytellers. And the kind that get paid and the kind that get put on stage and the kind that go to the festivals are just one kind of storyteller. And so we tend to forget that there's other kinds of storytellers, because the kind that seem to appeal to a mass audience are the kind where they're going to be telling a story and they'll be like, and Little Red Riding Hood, she had the hood on. She went through the forest, and they get all this acting into it, the art, the performers and everything. But there's different kinds of storytellers. And so to be a good storyteller, you don't have to be, everything with your body, and you don't have to be like that person on stage. And I think that's what a lot of people are aiming for, not realizing that perhaps they have a different style. Because if you can recall back in your memory, you can probably bring up from, movies, from just what you hear from books. You can probably recall other kinds of storytellers. There's the person, the little wise man who sits in the corner of the cafe and says, and maybe you're more of a quiet kind of storyteller that people just come and gather around and listen to your little story. And then there's the other storyteller who you always go to a group of people and, he's the person who just got back from a trip or, who knows, he just likes to tell things about himself. Well, you know what happened to me on this trip, and then we went to the storyteller who just loves to have an audience and will just talk, and they don't have all those animations that go with it, but they have all the details. Well, then we went here to the shop and there was this little old man. He told us this, and he pulled out this big green thing, and they'll just, so there's all kinds of storytellers, and I think one thing that helps in storytelling is to start looking around you and find examples around you of people that you know or people that you see who are storytellers. And sometimes there's even in children, we'll find storytellers. So you'll get the child who you'll say, well, what happened today when you went to your friend's house? We played. Okay, or then you'll get the child, what happened to you at your friend's house? We went to this tree and there was a fairy behind it, and we know there was a fairy because we saw all these mushrooms, and they'll go on and on and on, and you'll just, really all you really wanted to know is a little, but they'll give you this whole story, And so that's also a form of storytelling. So when we think of storytelling, I think, the first thing we need to remember is that there's different styles of storytelling. And the minute you are out there telling somebody something, that's storytelling. And so then you need to decide where you're going to go from there. So I always start people with I think taking something from the paper to the stage, as you might call it, is actually the hardest part of storytelling. So I always start people with a personal story. And this is the kind of thing that sometimes you wouldn't think of things as stories. And my favorite example is one time I was teaching this class, and I was supposed to come in and start the circle time every morning. And I didn't. I arrived late that day. And I arrived late because I was at the vet with my cat. And it was a horrendous time at the vet with my cat. And I was practically in tears. And it was just a horrible morning. And I walked into the class, and the other teacher had sort of taken over circle time, but she was not happy about it, because she was not a circle time type. She's just like, she just wanted to do the lessons. She didn't want to do the circle time. And so I came in late, and everything was sort of up, and I just made this decision right then and there. I said, I'm going to tell the kids why I'm late. So I sat them all down in a circle, and I said, okay. I said, do you want to hear a story? And they're like, okay. Every child wants to hear a story. So we sat them all in a circle, and I didn't know what I was going to say. But I just sat down with them, and I started telling about what happened to me that morning from the time I got to the house to the time I got to the school. And it was so healing for me to be able to tell the story, because I was in tears. It was a horrible story for me. And it was so fascinating for them, because they just loved the story. And the story, I'll just tell you a little bit. What basically happened, I told the kids, I said, well, what happened is I wanted to take my cat to the vet, and so my cat did not like going out of the house. So I had to chase him around the house, and he went under the chair, and then he went under this chair, and he went under the table, and finally I caught him, and I put him in the cat bag, and I zippered it up, and I said, I put it in the car, and I went to the vet, and the whole time he was going, meow, 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 and he was not happy. And then, guess what he did on the way there? Somehow he unzippered the bag and got out of the bag.
Oh my God.
And he went on in the back of the car, jumping here and jumping there, going meow, meow. And I'm trying to drive the car, and the cat's going meow, meow. I'm going under here. And so finally I got to the vet, and the cat goes under the seat, the little seat that's about this high. The big cat that this big goes in the seat this big. So I went under there, and he was flat down on the floor, like almost as if you'd smashed him there and glued him there. And then I went under and I tried to get him out by his paws, and he just would not budge. I mean, he must have been super glued there, you know. And then, you know, I drug out the story for a long time, you know, and I told them all the details about me trying to get the cat out, and I tried by the tail, and finally I just said, okay, this is it, and tried by the hands, and I finally got the cat out and got him into the vet, you know, and I remember going into the vet and asking them for help, and the kids were just, you know, fascinated the whole entire time. They were laughing at parts when I didn't even imagine they'd laugh, you know. I never told the story before, so I didn't know. And so this is one example where you can take something that happened to you and you can just take off with it. And the trick with the story, when you're telling the story, is always details. You know, and the way that I get the details is not by remembering them, but by pretending I'm